Hey, everybody. Happy Friday. It's Danny Flynn for those of you who are new here. And this is a little segment I like to call Girl Talk Live. And I am going to have to do this without a filter again. But I'm super excited about today's topic. This is something that is very close to both my literal and figurative heart. This topic is inspired by breast health, right? Just making sure that we as women keep our breasts healthy. And we have a special guest that'll be joining us here shortly as I kind of get myself situated here. And while she's joining us, I am going to just share a few statistics because maybe you're saying, why are we talking about breast health? Well, I would say, why aren't we talking more about breast health, right? I say that because I did a little bit of research before today's episode, and about 1 in 8 women in the U.S. Will be diagnosed with invasive breast cancer over the course of her lifetime. That's 13% of women to be diagnosed with breast cancer here in the U.S. I don't have statistics for other countries. I'm going to assume that other countries have a lower rate just because they live a little differently than we do here in the United States. Let's make sure she can join me. So it's probably lower in other places. I'm not exactly sure. In 2021 alone, they estimate nearly 300,000 new cases of invasive breast cancer is expected here in the United States of America. It's disturbing. I feel like it's numbers. About 4,600 women in the U.S. are expected to die in 2021 from breast cancers. Now, here's the good news. Hey, Nicole.
Hey.
I've been just sharing some statistics that are staggering, in my opinion, kind of explaining why we're having this conversation today. There's some good news here, though. In women over 50, the death rate within breast cancer is going down. So that's good. I think it says it's decreased about 1% from 2013 to 2018. I think that's great news. And they contribute that decline in death to early detection, right? To being aware of our breast health and being decisive and proactive, right? Here's the bad news in all of these statistics. Women under 50, the death rate is steady, right? It has not decreased. That's my audience.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
That's a lot of my audience. That's myself. And also Black women are more likely to die of breast cancer than other races. So that's also my audience, right? A lot of folks in my audience. And so we just really want to educate and bring awareness. Right? We need to be aware of it. You can't be, we're in our 30s, 40s, a lot of my followers. This needs to be on our radar, right? So the day I turned 40, I got a lovely little note in the mail from Novant Health or Atrium Health or one of them. And they were just like, hey, you're 40. It's time for a mammogram. And I had never really done any research on mammograms. It really wasn't on my radar, although getting breast cancer was just like something I was always really terrified about. And I think a lot of people have a fear of it. It's so common. It's the most common form of cancer here for women in the US. And other than lung cancer, it's the most common cancer that people die from. I didn't say that correctly, but you follow my lead, right? So I think sometimes we avoid even doing proactive measures because we're afraid of maybe what we might find, or let's face it, the mammogram process is not delightful, right? Nobody's really eagerly looking forward to having a mammogram done. And so I started to do a bunch of research. I asked a lot of people their experience with mammograms, where I should go, all of this. And, I'm of the opinion, and those of you who follow me, you know this, I'm of the opinion that just because something is always done or is recommended or is traditional doesn't mean it's right for me, right? Doesn't mean it's right for me. And I really wanted to research it. I've learned a lot in this journey. You know, like you go to the store and there's things on the shelves, and you just assume that because it's on the shelf, it's safe. And then you learn that there's all sorts of toxic chemicals that cause harm to you, including harm to your breasts, right? And Nicole, you got to make sure I'm saying this correctly. But one of the questions that I had for myself, and I asked Nicole and did a little bit of research on, is why is breast cancer so common? Why is it so? Why do women? Why is it so common? It can be in men too, but it's far more common in women. And do you want to answer that one? Because I feel like you'll answer it better than me.
Yeah, well, because it's fatty tissue, dense tissue, toxins are stored in fat tissue. So it's much more susceptible to getting cancer than other areas of the body. So that's one of the main reasons, actually.
Yeah. And so when we look at our toxic loads, I don't have this statistic handy, but it is like some statistic, maybe it's like 24 women use at least 24 toxic products a day. And I think that that's conservative. In our hair care products, our makeup, or, you know, all these things, right? And all of this could be putting us at risk of breast cancer and other forms of cancer, right? So it's definitely something that we want to talk about. And so I started to do some research, like my first question was, what I understand the benefits of mammograms. Tell me what the risks are. Because I had a few reasons to, and I'll answer this one for you. I have a few reasons as to why I was concerned about getting a mammogram. And the biggest thing was just having radiation directly at a part of my body that is susceptible to cancer. I just didn't understand how you're giving me radiation to see if perhaps I have cancer, but you're using something that can cause cancer, not to mention the compression factor, which my understanding is if there is something there and it's compressed, it could erupt, causing all sorts of additional problems, right? So that's when I started to like, I don't know, this is really right for me. Let me do some more research. That is when I found Nicole. And I'm pretty sure I found you from, oh my God, Melissa? Wait, what's her name?
Melissa Hansen?
Yes.
Yes.
Melissa Hansen, yeah. What?
Yes.
I'm pretty sure I found you for her. So why don't you explain to the good people what thermography is?
So thermography uses an infrared camera, and it takes images of the body, and it detects inflammation, areas of excess heat or cold. So they're both going to be an issue. The heat is going to be inflammation generally, maybe the start of cancer, other issues like that. And the cold is going to be maybe nerve damage, compressed nerves, things of that nature, or bad circulation, which is also an issue. So it shows the body as a whole, which is what I really like. And it also is the physiology of the body, not the anatomy. So it's kind of a different way to look at the body. And the anatomy is great. Of course, you know, it's a useful test, but you need a density in a mass. Whereas with the physiology, you can see things at an earlier stage, potentially see it at an earlier stage, which is what we're all going for, right? To be proactive. So yeah, so it shows, and it's not just the breasts, but the breasts are a big component of it, but it also can show thyroid issues, oral inflammation, digestive, all kinds of different things. And maybe even get to the root cause of a certain issue.
Yeah, I love it. So when I started to research it, I was looking primarily for an alternative to a mammogram. And then I learned, well, wow, you can get a full body view. And so that is what I did. So pre-COVID, I don't know if you remember this, but you and I was hitting you up in your DM. I was trying to figure out how we could arrange for you to come, because Nicole is based in California, but she does travel. I saw a couple comments when I posted yesterday. A couple people were like, I wish we had this here. Well, Nicole travels. And we were trying to coordinate something here in North Carolina. And then I had to get my funds together, and then COVID happened. But during COVID, it lasted around December, I found someone local. So by the way, there's not a lot of local people who offer thermography. I've only found 2 local people here so far. Maybe there are more. So for those of you who are in Charlotte, I did find one woman, and I had it done in December. And I wanted to share my experience briefly because I had no idea what to expect. I just showed up for my appointment. I didn't do any research about what to expect. So if you are interested in getting this, just be prepared to be in a cold room naked.
Yeah.
You're gonna the images are taken bare fleshed. And so I wasn't really prepared for that, so I had to adjust.
Oops.
Well, not completely bare, but definitely topless.
Of course.
And yes. So so be prepared for that. But it was so interesting because I was also able to see the images real time. And you know, we could see certain areas that were red and other colors, and it was just so interesting for me. She educated me throughout the process, kind of explained what she was doing and why, and what she was seeing, and you know, what it could potentially be or whatever. It was so informative, and she also gave me some tips on things that I could do to reduce my risk of various potential issues. Now, so you do a similar thing, right? Is that what people can expect when they see you?
Yeah, so I usually have people fill out intake paperwork prior to, which kind of explains the process a bit so they're not surprised about the bare flesh part.
Yeah.
But also I have a privacy screen too. So you're behind a curtain, and I'm able to take the images without, like, you know, we have privacy. So that's good. Yeah. And then for me, you can see real-time images, but then the company I work with, we send it out to a group of doctors. So it goes to 3 different sets of eyes, 3 different practitioners, and you get it back in about a week or so. So it's a little bit different process, but you know, similar in the end result.
Yeah. So what kinds of things, we talked a bit about, a lot of people know about breast health. So what types of things are you looking for in the breasts?
Yeah. So generally inflammation. Another thing is there's grayscale and color images. So the grayscale is really helpful because sometimes it shows things that in earlier stage cancer requires a blood source. So it will show like almost like a network of veins. So it's kind of great to see both. You can see like if there's red inflammation and also if there's vascular activity. So it's good to see both ends of it. And then another really good thing is to see the lymph, because the lymph is where you're going to excrete toxins. And if that's congested, you can actually see like the lymph node is red. It's like clearly congested. So that's a great thing too, because that way you can switch maybe lifestyle, like change your deodorant or get a lymph massage, whatever. And that will put you at much less risk for breast cancer. And again, another thing is if you can catch it at an early stage, when it's quite an early stage, then you can do things to prevent it, or to help prevent it rather, from going into a larger problem.
Having a bigger problem. Yeah, I love that. That was the one thing that I was actually quite like, when she gave me just like some brief things that she noticed. I was actually quite proud of myself because I delayed this because I knew I had a toxic lifestyle, and it's taken me a few years to kind of take the toxins away. I switched deodorants probably about 4 or 5 years ago. And that was the first thing she said. She says, do you use a clean deodorant? And I was like, yes. She's like, I can tell it. I was like, score.
Yeah, I know. It's so important because it will like block the area so you're not able to sweat. So it's kind of a big deal, even though it doesn't seem like it would be.
It is a big deal. And this is the reason why we do these types of things, to educate people, because a lot of these deodorants are just the common ones that we use.
Yeah, and they have aluminum. So you're like absorbing aluminum as well. It's just, counterintuitive.
No bueno. Awesome. Okay, and then, so we know about using it for breast health. Now, some people, and I will say that I spoke to my doctor, and he's an integrative doctor, and he asked me how to have my mammogram, and I said I'm actually doing thermography, and he was familiar with thermography. So he said, okay, that's good, and he said, I recommend that you maybe add on an ultrasound as well. Can you speak to that? Yeah.
So an ultrasound with thermography, it's anatomical and physiology. So it's like you have this much more information. Yeah. So and also like, if there's an issue with the thermography, often they'll recommend an ultrasound. So you can pair it with that, or if there's no like huge concerns, you don't necessarily have to. It's your own decision. Yeah. But it's great to like have them both. The more information, the better.
Oh yeah, right. The more information, the better. That's what we're
Yeah,
after.
exactly.
Yeah. Okay. And so you have the option of doing just the breast, but you also have the option of doing full body. What would be the advantages of doing full body?
So for full body, it's 29 images head to toe. So you can see structural issues, digestive, thyroid, but also you can see maybe the root cause of some issues. So there's often people have oral inflammation that's leaking down through their thyroid into their breast. So if you're being bathed in toxins, if these areas are being bathed in toxins, it's going to be hard for them to regulate. So, often that is the root, or there's other things too, where other areas of the body, there's a root cause that you wouldn't think would be the issue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so crazy. I mean, our bodies
I
are
know.
so interconnected. I think sometimes we forget that. So I love that there's this, you have the option of having like this full picture. What percentage of your, I'm sorry, this was not what we talked about.
It's okay.
Curious. What percentage of your customers do full body versus just the breast?
I would say 90%.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty big.
And how often do you recommend that you get a screening?
So the doctors, when you get your, screening, when you get your report, the doctors, based on your results, like what came up for you, they'll suggest when your next one is. Generally, it's 6 months or a year. If there's a cause for concern, they'll recommend it sooner, just because they want to monitor what's going on and make sure that like your treatment. That's another good thing about it too, is if you're doing treatment, it's a non-invasive way without radiation or compression to track how things are going. Is it improving? Is there another area you need to work on? So it's helpful in that way too.
Yeah, I love it. It's funny because one of my loved ones was concerned about my decision to not get a mammogram, and they sent me a video of a woman who was promoting mammograms, and basically she, like me, was concerned about the direct, radiation, and so she avoided it for many, many years, even though her mother died of breast cancer. She avoided it for many years. She went and got thermography later in life, like in her 40s. She went and got thermography.
Yeah.
And they detected breast cancer.
Okay.
And so, or something that was indicative of breast cancer.
Abnormal.
So she then was exposed to, and it sounds like she took a traditional route to treat it. And from that point forward, she was exposed to so much more radiation to treat the problem,
Right.
And so I love what you said. If we can catch it early enough, right, then the treatment can be monitored in a non-invasive way, without additional radiation. I love that.
Yeah. And even if it's not cancer, that's a good way to track treatment as well. If you're doing other things for your health and wellness, you can see if it's working, or do you need to shift it. So it doesn't have to be like as much as cancer, but it certainly could be.
Yeah. That's awesome. I love that. Yeah. And how long have you been doing this?
I've been doing it now for 6 years.
Yeah. How did you California is so much further advanced than us in the South. We're just getting hip to the game here, or at least I am. One of my friends said she's been doing it for 4 years, so that's awesome. How did you get into it?
So I worked for a holistic doctor for quite some time, and we did various treatments. I got certified in different modalities, and my mom ended up getting uterine cancer. So at that time, it was a very quick, she ended up getting it and then passing away pretty quickly. And it was just like super dramatic, and not dramatic, but it was just, it was hard. Yeah. So I saw so much value if we could have caught it at an early stage, because she didn't really have much, she didn't have like virtually any pain. So it was a really, sometimes not all cancers will produce pain. So you don't know, it's like a quiet, silent killer really sometimes. So I saw so much value in detecting it early, and that way you can make changes. The early detection can be like life-saving, clearly. So I saw a lot of value in this. So that's why I kind of niched this out, because it was so important to me. Yeah,
I love that story. I didn't know that. I'm happy that you shared that. I think that will really resonate with a lot of folks. I love that. Yeah, awesome. So you are based in California. What part of California? For the people?
Ladera Ranch. So Orange County.
Orange County. Okay.
Yeah.
But you do travel now. You do things other than thermography, right?
Yes.
I'm so jealous because you do ozone treatments there.
I
right?
know. Yeah.
Wish I
I
could come up
know.
with
It's
that.
amazing. I know.
Yeah, yeah, you've
That's
been
one of my
helping a good,
favorites.
yeah, you've been helping a friend of ours, so she's been telling us. So I'm like, oh, I wish I was there so I could experience it. But you do
Hmm.
travel, but
Hmm.
you travel only with the thermography?
Thermography. Yeah. The other machines are at my office, but you can't really travel with them. They're like quite big.
Yeah.
So I do the ozone treatment, which is an infrared sauna, and ozone is pumped in. So it oxygenates the body. So it has a ton of health benefits.
Yeah.
And then I do a liver cleanse. So it's actually like a physical liver cleanse. It kind of looks like an ultrasound, but it uses radio frequency and heat. So it helps to pull toxins from the liver, and then it binds to waste and you eliminate it.
Interesting.
So yeah,
Very cool.
pretty good.
I feel like I
Yeah.
need to come to California and just get all the treatments.
I
Like,
know.
it's like
I know, right? Just being here for a week did all.
yeah, get it all done.
Yeah.
Biofeedback, is that something else that you do, Charlene?
Yeah. So that's another thing too. So that is a different kind of test for the body. It tests your body against 11,000 different frequencies, and it
Mhm.
can show imbalances and help to de-stress the body so that your body can regulate on its own. So
Yes.
that's another thing that's interesting.
Yeah, I think that's amazing. That's one of the things that has drawn me into this um, this dark tunnel of awareness and like being woke. Is
Yeah.
just really understanding that the body has its own ability to self-regulate and
Mm-hmm.
balance itself out. But we play a part in that, and that's what
Mm-hmm.
I really want people to understand. We play a part. Everything that
Mm-hmm.
you put into your body, you put on your body potentially. That you all of the proactive things, all of this informed self-care, all of that contributes to your overall health and giving your body some extra benefits because we
Mm-hmm.
weren't intended to live in a world like we
Mm-hmm.
live in today where you walk outside and you're just confronted with toxic chemicals. Like that's not what it was supposed to be. And so our bodies need a little bit of help, and so we got to do our part. So here's some more good news for the people who are local, because you guys are probably like me, like, oh, I want to go see Nicole in California, but I can't travel quite yet. Don't worry, because Nicole is coming to the South.
I
Yay!
know. Exciting.
Yes, it's going to be great. So Nicole will be in the Charlotte area the weekend of my calendar, July 30th, 31st.
Mm-hmm.
We're ironing out the details of, when, where, time, all that jazz. But if you are interested in having the screening done, or here in Charlotte, or if you are interested in having Nicole come to, we didn't talk about this, Nicole, but if
That's
they're
okay.
interested in having you travel to wherever they are,
Yeah.
maybe Nicole can do that. Like my friends in Bermuda were like, oh, we want it. So maybe
That'd
you
be
can have a little,
amazing.
there you
Yes.
go, right a little trip off.
Yeah, right?
So we'll be sharing more information about the weekend that she's here and giving you the dates and times. And for those who want an appointment, they can get an appointment. You have a comment saying Nicole helped change my life. That's awesome. Don't you
That's
love,
good to hear.
right? Don't you love hearing that kind of thing?
Yes.
Awesome. Is there anything I missed? I feel like I missed some stuff.
I guess it's just like a good reminder that it kind of will give you a plan of what's important to you. So we all have different things going on in our body, but what's most important to you is maybe not for me. So maybe I need to go to the dentist, you need to get a lymph massage. But these things can be pricey, so it's good to have like a plan of action that you know personally is what you need.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love that. A plan of action so that you can prioritize. And so for
Mm-hmm.
me, getting the full body screening to me was the first step in that, to
Mm-hmm.
see like, okay, how bad is it?
Yeah,
Where
right?
do I need to go? And it was actually a really good report. I was very proud of myself. And so then your mind shifted to all dental, which is a whole other post. We'll talk about that
Yeah.
later.
I know, a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much
Of
for
course.
joining
Thanks.
me. Nicole has tons and tons of pictures on her Instagram page that you can go to if you want to see. I think that was one of the reasons why I really wanted to get it done, was following you. And I
Mm-hmm.
appreciate that you've created a platform to share, because it's not, at least here, it's not very common,
Mm-hmm.
and the practitioners that do it here are not on social media. So I love
Yes.
that you post, and she also posts lots of other really helpful and informative things. I think it was you that posted just some fruits and veggies that help your body stay hydrated. Those
Yeah.
types of, was that you?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I think, okay, perfect. I think I shared it. But those are the types of things, those are the types of tips and reminders that those of us who are on this quest for wellness that we need. Because we need, we're surrounded by the other stuff all the time. So we really need it. So thank you so much.
Of course.
Please don't stop. Keep up the good work.
Thanks, you too.
Yes, and we will see you. We'll get to meet in person at the end of July. All right?
Perfect.
Thank you for
Thank you.
joining, everybody. And this will be on my IGTV a little bit later this evening if you join a little bit late. All right. Be well, my
Bye.
friend.
Thank you.
Bye.